Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the questions which you had already faced in your PT1 examination, and first of all we will discuss the questions of biology part, section A, that you have faced in MCQ questions. So let us begin towards the first question. So the first question is this one. The following table shows the properties of three types of plants, P, Q and R. You can see over here the table. Plant type PQR, adaptability to diverse climates, low, medium, high, low for P, medium for plant Q and high for plant R, and resistance to pest and weeds. You are knowing pest and weeds, and that is low, high and low. You can see over here in the table. So the question is, if the soil is prone to pests and weeds and climatic conditions are diverse, then hybridization among which type of plants would be preferable? And the options are P and Q, P and R, Q and R, none of the above. So the correct answer is C, option C, Q and I, Q and R. So why the option C is correct option? Because hybridization among Q and R will lead to increased adaptability of the new variety of plants to diverse climatic conditions. And since Q is highly resistant to weeds, you can see over here, so the new variety will be highly resistant to weeds. So that's why option C is correct. So let us proceed further towards the next question, and the question is like this. Consider the statements below and choose the correct option. Statement 1. Decomposition of farm waste materials in pits by using earthworm is called vermicomposting. Statement 2. Fertilizers getting washed away due to excessive irrigation can cause water pollution. So the options are only 1 is correct, only 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 and 2. So you have to choose out of these 4. So the correct option is C, both 1 and 2 are correct statements. So why option C is correct? Because decomposition of farm waste materials using earthworm is called vermicomposting, and sometimes fertilizers get washed away due to excessive irrigation and are not fully absorbed by plants. So this excess fertilizers then leads to water pollution. So that's why option C is correct. Moving further towards the third question, and the question is, by which of the following farming methods you can improve the water holding capacity of sandy soil? And the options are organic farming using manures, fertilizer based farming, uncontrolled irrigation, none of the above. So I hope all of you have done this question correctly. So the correct answer is organic farming using manures. Why this option is correct? Because the bulk of organic matter in manure helps in improving the soil structure. So moving further towards the next question, the question is, by which of the following methods you can harvest rainwater and increase the groundwater level? It's a very simple question, students, and the options are dug well and tube wells, canals, tanks, check dams. So the correct option is answer D. D option is the correct one, check dams. Why? Because check dams stop rainwater from flowing away and it increases groundwater levels. So the next one is question number 5, and the question is, in order to increase the yield, Raghu decided to plant 2 crops, P and Q, together, and crop P needs more water and nutrients than crop Q. Be careful while reading it. So which type of farming practice should Raghu adapt for better returns? And the options are mixed cropping, intercropping, crop rotation, none of the above. So what you have done? So the correct option is option B, intercropping. Why? Because intercropping is the preferable choice, because since P needs more water means since crop P needs more water and nutrients than Q, so there will be competition among P and Q to use the available water and nutrients in mixed cropping. So this may have adverse effect on the yield of Q. But in intercropping, individual needs of each variety of plants can be fulfilled. So moving further towards the next question, and the question is, consider the statements and choose the correct option. Statement 1, various types of diseases in plants are caused by weeds. Statement 2, plowing the fields deep in summer removes weeds. And the options are, statement 1 is true, 2 is false, 1 is false, 2 is true, 1 is true, 2 is also true, both 1 and 2 are false. So which one of them is correct? The correct option is option B. Statement 1 is false and statement 2 is true. Why? Because weeds do not cause disease to the plants. They compete for food and space with the plants and take up the nutrients which reduce the growth of the plants. So plowing deep in the summer is a mechanical method of removal of weed. So I hope it's clear to all of you. Moving further towards the next question, the question is, how can crossbreeding of brown Swiss and red Sindhi cows increase the daily return to farmers? So read all the options. The options are, it increases lactation period only. Second one, it only makes them resistant to diseases. Third one, they consume less largely roughage and give the same yield of milk. And the last option is, it makes them both disease resistant and increases lactation period. So what will be the correct option? What you all have done? So the correct option is option D. That is, it makes them both disease resistant as well as increased lactation period. So why this option is correct? Because we are knowing that exotic foreign breeds have longer lactation period and local breeds of cows shows excellent resistance to diseases. So crossbreeding between exotic foreign breeds and local breeds of cows increases their lactation period and also makes them disease resistant. Now moving further towards the next question, and the question is, a poultry farmer bought 2 different jars of edible for layers and broilers. Jar 1 contains fibrous food and jar 2 contains protein rich food, but the labels corresponding to layers and broilers on the jar are missing. So how would you advise him to decide which jar is suitable for whom? And the options are jar 1 layers and jar 2 broilers, jar 1 broilers and jar 2 layers. Option C, any jar is edible and suitable for both. And option D, only jar 2 is suitable for broilers and jar 1 is not suitable for both of them. So what you have done? So the correct option is option A. Jar 1 is layers and jar 2 is broilers. So why does this option is correct? Because jar 1 has fibrous foods which used by layers to lay egg, and jar 2 has protein rich food. You can see over here, it is written in the jar as well. So which is given to broilers to develop better quality meat. So that's why this option is correct. So moving further towards the next question. So the question is, the figure below shows the cross section of a composite fish culture system. The relative position of the fish are shown according to their food availability at different levels of the pond. So you have to identify them. So the figure is here. So you have to identify them. So for identification, just see the picture, and the options are fish 1 catlas, fish 2 rahus, and fish 3 mrigals. Now again option B, C and D you can see over here. So just see the picture and just you have to name them. So what will be the correct option? So the correct option is option A, that is fish 1 catlas, fish 2 rohus and fish 3 wriggles. Why this option is correct? Because you are knowing that catlas are surface feeders, you can see over here, and rohus feed in the middle zone of the pond, just see here, and the wriggles are the bottom feeders. So in this way they do not compete for food among themselves. So option A is correct. So moving further towards the last question. So the last question of biology section is, in which type of areas will the honey produced in the apiary be of good quality? So the options are this, like the first option is if the apiary is established near to a park with lots of flowers, if the apiary is established near to an industrial estate, and if the apiary is established in drought ridden area. The last one is equally good quality at all places. So what you all have done? So the correct option is option A. Why? Because if the apiary is near to the park, the bees will have access to larger sources of nectar. Since there are different varieties of flowers in park, so the honey produced can be of better quality. So I hope all these questions are clear to all of you. So thank you students, stay safe, remain at home. Thank you.